Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and namaste. Today we are here with one of our very eminent educationists, a senior educationist. Colin Willox has very precisely quoted, teaching is the greatest act of optimism. Our guest for tonight is a visionary who has always been walking ahead, focusing on the above lines. Mr. Raj Kumar Wadhwa holds a rich experience of more than 3 decades in education, plus 11 and a half years at a country's premier residential school, Birla Public School, Pilani. He has been a principal for around 13 years now. He's the ex-director education DPS Sirsa, principal Satya Laksha Euros World School, Sri Ganganagar in Rajasthan. He possesses a master's degree in English, history, and public administration, a B.Ed, BJMC Bachelor's of Journalism and Mass Communication too. He has also been handing famous schools like Good Shepherd Public School, Sri Ganganagar, SOS Herman Gamier School, Nainital. He has been a freelance writer for Baiju's sponsored Times of India to Keep Learning portal. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and accepting our invitation. We welcome you, sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Good evening.
Sir, it has been always an honor to have you on my show. And all of us, whosoever views, whosoever interacts, all of them have had excellent experience. Sir, like being in the education for more than 30 decades, like 30 years, 3 decades is 30 years, you have experienced a lot. You have seen from the beginning till date, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the topic for today is pandemic versus education, hope to cope up and normalize.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have very well planned for it because you have a vision for education.
Yes.
So, sir, I would request you to please share your views.
Good evening, everybody. Actually, what happened when I was at Harman Minor, Nainital, some 2 years back, using online education, using online platforms was not there in the offering. And one day it suddenly struck me, and I told my teachers to prepare teaching videos and send them to me. They must include in their videos the ambience of the school, the ambience of the class, and then, of course, what they teach. After I left Nainital, last year we saw the unexpected pandemic, and the schools, the colleges, the universities all over the world came to a shutdown. Education suffered a lot, and then overnight the teaching community, the parents and the students, they had to shift to a newer mode of education that we now popularly know as online education. Several platforms have been tried, and different schools with different advancements, different technologies, they are using different modes of this online education. And it has been so effective in learning that learning has actually gone up. Although, with the children missing their schools, with the parents also missing the physical schooling of their wards, it seems to have suffered a little. And online teaching in various modes, the students are exposed to extra screen time which they are copying up, which the schools, which the stakeholders, which the parents, they are all brainstorming over it, and they are coming to the best conclusion that a fine mixture of online and offline, I mean, the schooling, physical schooling, a fine blend of the two is of great use. During the second wave, the parents have seen the schools were expected to open up. They did open for senior classes, for classes 6 to 12th, but soon after there were cases again on the rise and the schools were shut down again. Now almost all colleges, all schools, universities, professional colleges, they are all on a standstill. Now, what remains to be done, what remains to be seen is how we can effectively continue providing education to the children, how a large gap which some of the educationists fear is going to be caused because of the students missing their schools and colleges. How are we going to cop it up? There have been different efforts. There are different private channels. There are different government channels which are providing every bit of the syllabus, every part of the syllabus of every subject. But still, the students do miss their schools, and online education nowadays is on a newer platform. Students do watch what they want to study. Learning is easier, faster, and has better retention. So, this is what our school also has done. We provide online classes to the students of all the classes with a little gap in between, one period and then 5 to 10 minutes gap depending upon the class, and then the frequency of the classes in a week, and it's different for different classes so that the students don't feel overburdened, so that the online classes do not exert pressure on their eyesight or on their mental health. So
Right.
students,
So, sorry to interrupt. I have a question.
mm,
Like,
yeah,
we have been discussing about what is going on and how things are going on. So, sir, you have experienced it since the very beginning, right?
yes,
And we have been trying to get things even better.
yeah,
Not everybody is accepting the fact that this is going to be there for quite some time. And this is how we will be continuing education. Now,
yeah,
in online education has become a mode of continuing education
yeah,
because we are scared of sending our kids to school. We as
yeah,
educationists are scared of getting them there because we don't want them to contact the virus.
yeah.
So, sir, in case if the schools open, how well planned are the strategies to curtail this spread of virus?
See, ma'am, as far as schools like ours are concerned, last year also when the schools were opened in the month of October, we actually planned everything in detail, distancing between two students sitting to the left or the right. They were distancing was ensured. Uh, Sanitizer was expected to be there in every class outside automatic dispensing machines, and even on the in the corridors, stickers were pasted so that they move away from each other. And parents were also told to visit the school. We constituted a team of leading uh, people of the town to visit the school. It included a few doctors also. They suggested us how to thermal scan students every day in the morning and every day in the evening. What were the likely precautions to be taken? Cold water was not supplied to the children, although you know sometimes they demanded it. And with just 12 students to 13 students against a strength of 30 to 35, only 12 to 13 students were allowed in a class, and we conducted these classes for 3 days a week into two batches of 13 to 15 students each. Now, if the schools reopen again, the same will be our strategy. Plus, it will be only for the senior students, and if there is a full-time nurse and a doctor also in our school, keeping a say round the clock vigil uh, at all of them, at each one of the student, any child having any type of abnormality in their body temperature, or having a little of cough or cold or common infection like coryza, it is taken seriously and the parents concerned, and all those medical steps are then followed.
Right, sir. So, all said and done, we are fully prepared,
Yeah.
right? But are we mentally prepared for our to welcome our children? Still, somewhere we have that thing in our mind, ऐसा ना हो जाए.
Yeah.
So, what should be that our kids are safe, we are safe, and everybody around is safe, and things work smoothly? What is in your opinion, is the proper method of implementing these things?
First of all, we have to ensure that they become sure that nothing of this kind is going to happen. All this is a game of mental health. So, psychological counseling of students and their parents. Some of the parents are still reluctant to send their wards to school. Uh, we have told them if they don't feel secure, they should not start sending their wards to school. Otherwise, the students who are coming to school, they are proving to their parents, to their friends' parents, that every care is taken care of. They are properly taken care of in the school, and they are attending to the classes, and there's nothing abnormal happening. They feel happy going around in the school with proper distancing, and this uh, assurance comes from the students to their parents and to their friends' parents, and the strength is that time it picked up, and we had very good strength of students coming to school. Now again we will have to be very careful because the third wave is mainly about children. Children for a while are not supposed to come to school, but whenever the governments allow, whenever the health authorities of states and at the center, they feel sure that the schools can be attended, the students will be prepared mentally, and then making all arrangements, the schools should reopen.
Definitely, sir. Sir, once we reopen, okay, all said and done, we've got the permission from the government, we have got the permission from the state government, central government, education, and health ministry as well. Kids start coming to the school. We have started working slowly, slowly, maintaining the proper demographics of rules and regulations, right?
Yes.
But due to some other reason, it can be our ancillary staff, it can be our staff who's the carrier, our teachers who's the carrier, even though all precautions are taken. But some or the other, how a child catches the virus. How do we handle the situation then? It's going to go bizarre.
Yeah. We have to be, in fact, very careful, and we don't have to imagine that the schools will open on the whole. As far as I opine, we still have to cover miles as far as the control of this COVID-19 is concerned, proper vaccination of all the stakeholders and their wards is concerned. Now, there will be a fine blend of online as offline classes. Uh, I opine the online education is going to play a greater role, a stronger role, and a larger role. So the students should not come to school for more than 3 days a week. and for the other 3 days, they should uh, be at home and attend to the online classes. Because infection coming to the school, coming to any of the students in any form and from anywhere is going to cost the school, the institution very heavy. And this is the fear that clings to the educational institutions, to the parents, and to the authorities. There may be infection from any side, and we have to be very careful about those infections. And we must, keeping this thing in mind, we must encourage online platforms as far as possible.
Right. So one more thing, like we are just assuming about the exams,
Yeah,
right? That the 12th board exams and all. Though we are nobody to comment on that, but yes, because being a public platform, we can definitely discuss about. Right. So, sir, what do we do to see that the education that is being imparted, the teachers, those who are imparting education online, they impart it in a manner that the students get it properly.
yes,
It does just not fly above their head, because at times
yes,
this is happening.
yes. Now, as far as the study of the senior classes is concerned, they have almost managed to do well in all their subjects. And regarding examination, the CBSE and all educational boards have already decided that as per their performance throughout the year, and as far as the annual exams are concerned for class 10, they are not going to be conducted. A criterion has been set. The schools have been made aware of those criteria, and now they are going to prepare results on their own, keeping a base year in the last 3 years in their minds.
Right.
12th
So
class,
about 10, that's what I was asking you about 10th and 12th. But on
yeah,
the grounds that CBSE has laid down to promote the 10th standard students, right?
yeah.
Do you think that is feasible enough?
I don't think so, but keeping the possible outcome of pandemic and mm, getting worried about exams being conducted, and maybe they become a super spreader again, as per past few events which have happened in the country. It was the only decision the CBSE, the government, and the state education boards could take. Although it's not that feasible, it would be like, once the CBSE implemented a program, home examination or board examination. And after a few years, the CBSE had to take its decision back, and class 10th exams were conducted by the CBSE only. So, in those situations, also, the schools did not do justice to their students, and this is what is likely to happen this year.
Like, sir, now NEP 2020 is there,
Yes,
right? And as far as I know, you expertise in that implementation of NEP 2020.
yes.
So, like there are rumors, or there, I don't know whether it's true or not. The coming session 21-22, there is not going to be any 10th standard board.
Again, there is a choice for the schools. Although NEP 2020 has suggested that there should be no education board, but the government has also invited suggestions. It has told the educationists to brainstorm, and then before implementing it, they are going to take it back that class 10th board should be there, and there should be another class before 10th to have board examination. There are other things in NEP which are a little difficult for the schools to digest, but class 10th
That is
board,
the vocational training, the
yeah,
vocational education. But don't you
yes,
think, sir, vocational education is going to be more fruitful, especially,
yes,
especially for those children who are not able to? cope up with the, who find these heavy subjects and heavy words very, we can say, very heavy on their brains.
Yes, ma'am. There are
Because Finland,
at least,
Finland is following the same pattern.
yes,
They have,
at least
yes, sir.
there are students who are not academically that inclined, but when it comes to providing them vocational training, they do well. And
Yes.
like coding,
Don't you
coding
think,
is
sir,
going
if
to
the
help.
schools implement this, if the schools implement this, the pass percentage of the students is going to improve,
Yes, it's going to improve certainly. There are certain
and
other
there will
changes
be
also.
less of school dropouts and more of students trying to go ahead with their futures.
Yes, there will be, and with a interdisciplinary, options given to the students now, there will be much more practical study in the students. Then earlier they were bound to just one subject, and if they failed in that, if suppose in my own case I could not become a doctor, I couldn't do well in defense forces exams also, and now they will have other options open before them, and they can excel in any of them.
Sir, one more question. Because now, when we've started discussing NEP, let's make a few more points clear to people so that the teachers and the principals get ready to implement NEP.
Yeah,
Because that is, in a way, really going to help children.
of
Sir,
course.
NEP says sixth grade onwards, the children can choose their subject of choice.
Yes,
Whereas in the current system, it is only after 10th. In 11th and 12th, the student can choose their subject of choice.
right.
A jump of 4 years ahead,
Yes,
6th and 10th.
5
Don't you
years.
think that 5 years almost? Don't you
Yeah,
think, sir, kids will be more happy to choose it from sixth grade?
yes. Plus, they will feel professionally occupied.
Yes.
The new subjects, new options offered now to them, they are much more interesting than their usual subjects, two, three languages, a third language, and then mathematics, and then science, and the most
Because,
unwanted
sir,
social science.
there are some students who don't only like maths. There are some
Yes,
students who are not at all interested in science, and they want environment management, they want different language, they
yeah,
want travel and tourism. Because these
yes.
days, kids are more aware of all this.
Yeah, of course, because of the internet education, they have a much larger exposure now, and introducing these vocational courses right from class 6 is going to help them a lot.
So, supposing a student is in grade 6, 7, 9, or 10, and the student opts for just leaving maths, science, and taking up some of the vocational training subjects, would that help them in future for getting certified by CBSE or any other board?
Yes, it's going to help them because they will have an expertise in that very particular faculty or field of their interest, and they will be far more well versed uh, than their peers who take the subject in class 11th or after that. And the certification would automatically come by because national education policy is a program of government of India, and uh, they will find better employment, they will find
Right.
better opportunities.
Right. Sir, if you could give us a glimpse of the subjects that are currently included in NEP 2020, so that there are some students also watching, they can think about it.
It is, coding is there, photography is there, and some subjects which are taught at ITI level are also there. Like painting is there, coding, of course, coding which includes web designing, graphic designing,
Then I think
gaming,
we have travel and tourism also.
travel and tourism, and there are some subjects which are, in fact, so far taught at ITI level, Industrial Training Institute level. They are also there, and students can choose any one of them. Offered to, like, throughout the country, it will be a little different for different schools, because some schools will offer a set of these two subjects, and other schools which are very resourceful, they can offer more than that. So that depends upon the location of the school and the facilities provided by the school, which 2 to 3 options do they offer their children.
Right, right, sir. So now let's come back to the topic. We went a bit different because this information was also necessary.
Yeah,
Right. So now, sir, when we've already spoken about pandemic versus education, what pandemic has done to the education system.
yeah.
Now, let's come to the second part of it. It says hope to cope up and normalize. What are your views, your personal views, your personal opinion about this part, the second part?
Uh, you know, Certainly the humanity hopes to pop up with the situation, hopes things to become normal. But everybody must know, students must know, educational institutions must know that the new normal will be online education as an integral part of the schooling. Schooling, as far as physical schooling is concerned, it will be there, but even then, they can have online education even while visiting the school, where a certain part of their curriculum, a certain part of their routine is kept for those physical activities. And the new normal is going to be the online education, and that is how we are going to cope up with the
That means
pandemic.
you vouch for our virtual school.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Thank you
I
so much, sir. Thank you
strongly,
so much. It's given me a boost now.
yes,
Because sir, like the thing is, a fact is that we have to continue with this for some time.
yeah,
It's not going to go soon,
no,
right?
no,
But till the time we are in this situation, what would be your suggestions for the parents and the teachers? How should they handle the children so that the children do not start running away from studies?
yes. Now, while working with, Times of India, Keep Learning, Times Keep Learning, portal of Baiju, this was a general question. Most of the time, the parents were very apprehensive about online education. Students have encouraged online this presence, and they have enhanced screen time. You know, Generalizing all this properly, the online education, which was already there for coaching to mainly the competitions, is now coming down to school level, and it's not harmful. Like our school planned proper intervals between periods and the frequency of those periods. Like we don't conduct classes for all 6 days. We conduct them 2 days, and then there's a break on Wednesday, and then again 3 days, and for Sunday there's just no class. And parents have to ensure that the students, I mean, the time which they spend on online with their friends and playing games, can better be used for educational purposes. And there's no harm if the online education continues, and parents, they become careful about it, because learning is faster and it is more retentionable
Easier also
than the
because
offline.
most of us are auditory and visual learners.
Yes, plus it has flexibility also. Students can watch the
Yeah,
same
in
thing
case if
time
a
and
child
again
is
as
not present today, if a
yeah,
child is not able to attend the class for 2 3 days, they can request the
yeah,
teacher that ma'am, can we continue it afterwards, or in the morning they are not available, the teacher can be
yeah.
available for them in the evening.
It has that
That is what
flexibility.
that is what flexibility is about in education.
Yes, yes, and it helps them a lot.
Right. So now let's come to the parent teacher student bonding.
Yeah,
Most important platform where all three of them are there.
yeah,
What measures are being taken or will be taken to bring the parents, teachers, and students on the same platform? And how and what measures can be taken to increase the bond between the three?
yeah. Now, the students and the teachers are already on the same platform. The only apprehension is with the parents, and parents have to be counseled. We do conduct Zoom sessions for the parents, counseling them about online education, how to increase concentration, how to maintain a mental health of the children during pandemic while going ahead effectively with online education. And parents attend to them, and parents have their own questions, have their own apprehensions. They can uh, ask you questions, and the teachers or the counselors, they try to satisfy them with their answers. So ultimately the parents are catching up with the uh, teachers and educational institutions that online education is going to stay. The safety of their children is the topmost priority of, not only for them but for the schools also, for the educational institutions also. And education which is going on online is not going to harm their children eyesight or mental health at all. So slowly and steadily they are coming on the same platform.
So, like during this almost one and a half, even more than 1.5 year lockdown,
Yeah.
right? The kids have been just inside their homes. The teachers have been teaching from inside their homes, and some of the teachers have been called to school. And once they are to school and back, some or the other way, either while traveling or anything, they have contacted the virus.
Yeah.
So, out of fear, rest of the teachers have not come to school,
Mm.
right? So there is a
Right.
very bad psychological impact going on the brains of the parents, teachers, and students, right? Are the teachers of your school or any other school? I'm asking all the principals. Do you regularly counsel your teachers? Because that is need of the second, because they are also going through a lot. We need to we need to know whether these teachers are able to cope up with the situation or not.
Yes. Now, we have to regularly empower our teachers. We have to regularly counsel our teachers. And, today also we had a counseling session for the by a child psychiatrist for the students and their parents. And same is to be there for the teachers. We regularly encourage them about do's and don'ts, about the ways they can go ahead effectively uh, with their online education, and the moderation, the syllabus, and students and the teachers, they both keep in good cheers as long as you keep them in good cheers through your motivations and encouragements. That is what we principals have to ensure, that our students and teachers are both encouraged to learn. They are kept in good mental health through the means we get from various sources ourselves nowadays.
So it is very evident that our children are going to come in a very different mind frame once they are back to school.
Yeah.
Even the teachers, and so will the parents. So how will the schools tackle this problem? That is going to be a very, like, it's not going to be just one or two children. It's going to be the whole lot of students in the school.
Yes. Now, now what as heads of institutions we are afraid of is when they come to, when they start coming to school once again, they will be, sort of uh, uninterested in all this, because for last more than 1.5 year, and for the next say 4 to 5 months, which is going to take them uh, to be normal. uh, I don't know what is going to happen to schools when they reopen, because the students and the teachers and the parents have got used to an almost different sort of lifestyle in this 1.5 year, and in the coming 6 months, which is going to continue. For 2 years, if a child has studied at home, if a child has got up at will, if a child has attended to online classes in the casual dresses, the habit formation has already happened, and it will be very difficult for the schools and even the parents to pursue students to come to school, to which they have been badly missing in the beginning. They will be, again a sort of compelled to attend the schools, and it will take them quite a lot of time to get used to this new mode of life once again, because they have all got used to staying at home, doing things at will, and attending to their online classes at their comfort.
So, sir, in a way, you would say that our teachers, first, we need to counsel our
Yeah.
teachers and parents together.
Yes.
Why? Because teachers will be counseling the students while they're in school, and parents will be counseling the students when they are at home.
Yes.
Parents and teachers together, and then students separately.
Of course.
So, sir, what approach is the school going to have towards counseling the parents and teachers together?
It won't be difficult to counsel the teachers to get used to their original lifestyle once again. But because of this changed scenario, which has been into practice for 1.5 year now, parents will have to be counseled once again about the uh, precautions to be taken in the school to maintain health of their children, to counsel them about making their children get up again in the morning, get ready for the schools, and attend to 5 6 hours physical schooling, and then come back and then get used to all that once again. Uh, it will be a little difficult for the schools in the beginning, but ultimately the parents would agree to it, and maybe parents also feel like us that now online and offline education both have to go simultaneously. It's not every day that the child has to come to school. It may be 3 days a week, or it may be at the most 4 days a week. For other days, the students will remain at home and they will continue their education online.
Right. So, sir, when you've already planned that 3 days school and 2 days home, what kind of activities or homeworks would the student be getting to normalize the things?
You know, there are different types of activities or the homework or assignments given to them. As far as teaching or academic subjects are concerned, teachers do give them worksheets, do give them questionnaire to solve, and do give them different things. And uh, but activities which can be given to them are uh, drawing related, like we give them to shoot a video of 3 to 4 minutes, uh, preparing a project of science or mathematics, or teaching mm, their friends something which they know, and video recording their act of plantation, and so that they feel involved as far as environment is concerned, so that they feel that they are being attended to. Public speaking is also an important act. They can video record their speech for 2 to 3 minutes and then send them to us. So these activities will keep them busy for the days when they are at home, along with attending online classes, of course, and getting regular academic assignments.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing all your views, sir. And we will definitely look up to you for. In fact, once we will organize a special show only for telling the
Principles.
information regard NEP 2020.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
That is
I'll
a
be able
must
to.
because everybody
Uh,
has different apprehensions and different blockages which we need to remove.
yeah, I have actually prepared a set of PPTs about NEP 2020, and sometimes I'm invited to different schools. I explain to them how and when it's going to be implemented and what are the plus points about it.
Definitely, sir. Because NEP 2020, though it is a new system, but it is
Yeah.
full of 100% full of opportunities for children.
Yes, it has a promise, and it is better than the present education system. Will help the children and the parents in many ways.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time. Thank you and
Welcome.
namaste.
Uh, Namaste.
Tomorrow we will be having, here we end our show. Tomorrow we will be having Mrs. Moshmi Debroy. She is a professor and a counselor as well. See you tomorrow. Till then, namaste and good night.